Well, I can answer that for Chris. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me,
Thank you, Mr. President.
it will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me.
Influence, move with a practiced grin, shaking hands with the lights that dim. The White House walls heard his claim to fame, but the shadows whispered a different name. Oh, am I false? So what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. Pretending blind to the cries at home, while the streets of SA ache and moan. Right, the man with the golden hue, but the deal fell flat and the lies broke through. Oh, am I fool? So what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. Closed doors, the mask came off. No suits, no ties, just shadows aloft. The past screams loud from the buried ground. Now the silence breaks with a deafening sound. Oh, am I false? So what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. What's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. The horrors rise from a nation torn. Whispers turn to cries of scorn. History's weight won't stay concealed. Every wound must one day heal. Oh, am I false? So what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. What's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You pay.
And they're doing precisely what we said we as South Africans should not do. We should stop running to other countries. We should discuss our own problems here.
Sunsets and skies so blue, mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. People sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave and weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people above it all. We know it all.
So now they're crying over toys. Toys made in China. They say tariffs will ruin Christmas. I say good. Maybe it's time your kids learn where things come from. Not everything shows up in a box with a smile. We gave China our factories. They gave us cheap junk. Now we take it back. And if a few kids miss out on plastic garbage this year, blame the deals you voted for.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Friday, June 6, 2025. It's D-Day. This is the date in which the Allies invaded Europe, Western Europe, finally going after the Nazis. And it changed the outcome of the Second World War. No doubt the Nazis would have had an onslaught continuing from the east, but they certainly, well, things changed with this. So D-Day 2025. On June 5th, 1944, General Dwight Eisenhower, something on here. On June 5th, 1944, General Dwight David Eisenhower delayed an amphibious landing and airborne operations in Europe for 24 nerve-wracking hours, owing to horrendous weather over the English Channel. Operation Overlord was the name given to what colloquially became known to the world as D-Day. But ironically, D-Day is any amphibious land, any invasion that takes place. We have multiple D-Days across the Pacific, but the one we remember as D-Day is the English Channel crossing and landing in Normandy. The seaborne invasion for the liberation of France was codenamed Operation Neptune. Overlord, of course, was the entire operation. The Allies landed 156,000 soldiers on the beaches of Normandy by the end of June 6. Can you imagine? 156,000 soldiers with all their kit landed in one narrow, tight space of Normandy. Allied losses were staggering, with at least 4,000 dying that day. But the landing successfully established a beachhead for follow-on forces to arrive, leading to the eventual liberation of Europe from Nazi tyranny. Within a few days of the Normandy landings, over 326,000 Allied soldiers, including my grandfather, 50,000 vehicles, and over 100,000 tons of equipment and supplies were landed, creating a lodgement point that the German army was never able to send back into the sea. While over 150,000 soldiers landed, Operation Neptune entailed an additional 196,000 naval personnel just to get them from England to Normandy. So over 300,000 soldiers involved in that conflict that day. We haven't even talked about those in the air. Over 73,000 Americans under the command of Lieutenant General Omar Bradley and assigned to 2 U.S. Army Corps, the 5th Corps and 7th Corps, with 6 divisions participated. The landings included 15,600 airborne troops who dropped behind enemy lines from gliders and C-47 transports. The Americans landed at Utah and Omaha beaches, where they met fierce resistance from determined German defenders. At Pointe du Hoc, 200 soldiers from the 2nd Ranger Battalion under the command of Lieutenant Colonel James Rudder scaled near 100-foot cliffs under intense enemy fire in one of the most iconic and courageous engagements in military history. By June 7th, Rudder had only 90 men fit for the fight and ran out of ammunition by the 2nd day. The Americans had used captured German weapons, which sadly led to friendly fire loss of life. The 2nd Ranger Battalion suffered 135 casualties amongst the 200 soldiers who climbed those cliffs, taking Pointe du Hoc. The heroic sacrifice in the face of certain death was vital to securing the beachhead. The Normandy landings 81 years ago turned the tide of the Second World War by creating a second front in Europe, putting intense pressure on a German army facing a massive onslaught from the Soviets in the east. The United States reluctantly entered the war, only doing so after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Although late to the conflict, which had begun in 1939, the industrial might, distant shores, and determined grit of Americans proved the essential ingredient to eventually destroy Japan's imperial ambitions and crush Nazi Germany in a continent-wide pincer that led to Berlin. It's all too easy to forget the sacrifices those men made so long ago, with daily distractions and challenges we all face in our own lives and families. But one should pause once again this year to remember, and perhaps even be grateful, that in the face of grave danger and grievous losses, the world's greatest army, united with its allies in a common cause to end fascism, did so. And that's my opening monologue on D-Day, June 6, 2025, 81 years to the day when Americans, Brits, Canadians, Poles, and French started retaking France. Welcome, folks. How y'all doing? Welcome back to the program on this Friday. Hope you're having a good time. I see some memberships were gifted and a lot of folks in the chat. So let's get to the news. And before I do that, I do want to mention that I have an announcement here. I've created a new segment for the program called The Colonel's South African Refugee Cafe Clutch. So we're going to sit around and enjoy some coffee in the coffee shop and chat about refugees. We'll be doing that weekly. The plan right now is on Sundays. So I ask that you hold your questions and please be considerate as I try to go through the news. Welcome. All right, so that's coming up. Hope you find that useful. The intent of that is to answer. So if you want to come to the Cafe Clutch on Sunday and ask questions about refugees, feel free to do it. Feel free to do it because that's what we're setting up. There's just too many distractions, too many questions, too many people being inconsiderate in the chat. So we're going to do that. Doesn't mean I'll never take questions on my night owls about refugee or here. Just saying that we're creating a special program. So when people want to complain or whine that, well, I just asked a question. Yes, I've answered it 5 times in the last 20 minutes. The fact that you just arrived and it's me, you want attention doesn't make you special. However, if you want to come and do me on Sundays, you can be special. Okay. All right, guys. So that's coming up. Let's get to the news. Lots of news, including Donald Trump's travel ban, which is really setting a lot of people crazy. Later today on the program at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that would be 8 p.m. South Africa time, Jack Miller will be on the program, the leader of the Cape Independence Party, who was violently ejected from council because racists didn't like what he had to say when he used a standard term to identify people who move from one place to another for economic reasons. The phrase is called economic migrants. But the racist members of the South Africa's Cape Town Council took exception to that and demanded he be withdrawn. And then the cowardly, corrupt Democratic Alliance physically removed him for saying the phrase economic migrants, in which he was talking about members of his community who were complaining about economic migrants coming from the Eastern Cape and jumping the queue and getting housing that the city has been building. And for that, Jack Miller was assaulted and violently removed by racist. And it's no coincidence that every single person who removed him happens to be black, because only black folks get security jobs, because white folks don't get jobs in South Africa anymore. Notice this. So we're going to talk about that when Jack comes on a little bit later on. He will be taking these morons to court, and I hope that he wins. Of course, with the captured court system in South Africa, who knows whether you have a chance to win, because it's so fraudulent. Ejected Cape exit leader plans to lay charges after calling Eastern Cape residents economic migrants, which is a legitimate phrase. It's not a derogatory term. It's not racist. The Cape exit, and look at all the whiteys just sitting there doing nothing. The Cape Exit Party plans to lay criminal charges of assault after the party leader, Jack Miller, was forcibly removed from City of Cape Town council setting. He sparked outrage after referring to residents of the Eastern Cape as economic migrants. If the term economic migrants sparks outrage in your mind, you might just be a racist. You know what? Jeff Foxworthy used to have this segment, you might just be a redneck. Well, I'm creating a new segment. You might just be a racist. You know, if you are offended by the phrase economic migrants, you might just be a racist. It's time to start that you might just be a racist. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to make little shorts on that, 15-second shorts. You might be a racist. Yeah, anyway, there you go. So Jack Miller will be on the program in a couple of hours. Startling truth about South Africa's collapse. You're not paying for service delivery. I know South Africans always, I pay for my rubbish to be moved. No, you don't. I pay my rates. No, you don't. Do you know what you pay for? Do you know what you pay for, folks, in South Africa? You're not paying for service delivery. You're paying for patronage. You're paying for salaries of an. Did that look like a Democratic Party Nazi salute? That kind of looked like a Democratic Party Nazi salute. Did I look like the leader of the Democratic Party doing a Nazi salute? Oh, we better capture that on film and share it with the world. As I was pointing at, it looked like almost went up. Stop it. It's trying to go up there. Damn it. Tie that arm behind my back. There you go. Now we can't have that salute. Yeah, almost look like a Nazi salute there, boys. I'll tell you what. Got to be careful with that. You know, leftists love that stuff. They'll just grab that. Oh, this arm's loose. Damn it. Oh, got to get them both tied down now. Now they're both tied down. So now neither one of my arms can make a Nazi salute. Can I do it standing up? Is that a Nazi salute? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Nazi salutes. Yeah. Whew, boy. Anyway. So, you're not paying for service delivery, folks. You're not paying for service. Whoa, the arms are loose again. I got to tie those things up. Maybe I got a straight jacket here. We got to be careful. Anyway. Yeah. So, So, you're actually paying 84% of your rates go to salaries. Did you know that, folks? 84%. 84%. That's absolutely bat crap crazy. But that's the truth. Isn't that something? Business Day reports the startling truth behind the collapse of South Africa cities by Natasha Marian. I haven't seen anything from her in a while. She's not a bad journalist. Residents pay for salaries, not services, with 84% rise in staff. I'm sorry, you're not paying 84%. 31% drop in spending on infrastructure. Okay, I got the numbers wrong. Spending on personnel increased by 84% in the last 14 years. Gotcha. And this is from Operation Vulindela. They found that. Statistics are startling. Revenue from property taxes increased by 91% and service charges by 101%. It's a depressing paradox. While the cities are strapped for cash, their revenues have been rising faster than inflation. So why are they strapped for cash? Interesting. So you're not paying for service delivery, you're paying for salaries for patronage clowns. That's what you're paying for, folks. You're not paying for service delivery. So next time you say you're paying for service delivery, pay attention. Is Ronaldo here? Ashley Nell says Chinese migrants and companies have been officially classified as black since 2008. Yeah, no kidding. That's not news. I've only said that 150 times over the past 5 years in my program. That's not news. Why? Somebody spreading that around saying it's news? That's not news. Are people trying to raise that as news? Now, that's not news. That's not shocking. We've been talking about that for years. Why is that? Is that trending? What did I miss? Anyway, back to the news. SpaceX has cut off illegal use of Starlink in South Africa by people who have accounts registered in neighboring Mozambique and Zimbabwe. Stop it. Damn that hand, just trying to do a Democratic Party Nazi salute. Oh, so hard to stop that urge. Anyway, Anyway, so back to the story here. Yes, Starlink. SpaceX has been shutting off the service of Starlink used in South Africa. This comes after the country's communications regulator sent a notice to the company raising concerns about illegal Starlink usage in a blackmail scheme by ICASA. Well, no security clearance. It's all okay, folks. Nothing to see here. Johnny Boy makes the case clear that the reason that Ramon Kabanak is gone is because he didn't get a security clearance. Of course, you know the reason he didn't get a security clearance is because the state drags its heels. And in his case, we don't have evidence of it, but it's a strong suspicion that they intentionally didn't do the investigation in any degree of speed or with alacrity. So, Johnny Boy, the leader of the Democratic Alliance, that would be the collusionary party with the African National Congress in the application of the Bella Bill, the Black Tax, National Health Insurance Initiative, and expropriation compensation. Yay, go DA! Woo! Yay, DA! Wait, what am I excited about? None of that's good. None of that's good. Loss of local control of school boards. 3% money grifted from profitable corporations to put it in a slush fund for black folks, but not for anybody else. National health insurance, the criminalization, nationalization of healthcare, diminishing, destroying for everyone, communism, and expropriation by compensation. Why am I excited? That's not good. But Johnny Boy from the DA. No security clearance. Kabanak's position as chief of staff was untenable, says John Steenhuisen. Then why did you hire him, Johnny Boy? Why did you hire him and like a little biatch coward back out of it just days later? Where was your backbone, Johnny? Were you surfing in the USA? Where was your backbone, Johnny? Huh? Come on, tell us. Inquiring minds want to know. AJ, thank you for your membership. Inquiring minds really want to know, Johnny. Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen said his former chief of staff, Ramon Kabanak, never received a security clearance. Steenhuisen stressed that political appointees are appointed by political principles. He was speaking to News 24 on the sidelines of the AVI Africa Poultry Conference in Gauteng. John, can you tell us why South Africa imposed a 75% tariff on U.S. poultry imports? I know you weren't the agriculture minister then, but you were in Parliament. Apart from personally asking Ramon Kabanak to resign almost a year ago, Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen says his former chief of staff never received a security clearance for the work for which he was appointed. This made his position in department untenable, as he needed clearance to do the work. News 24 reported earlier on Thursday that Steenhuisen had fired Kabanak, who got caught up in a storm last year over racist remarks he made in the past. That's factually untrue. They weren't racist remarks. It was propaganda from News 24. His remarks were rude and insensitive. They weren't racist. Kabanak never promoted any ethnic group, any racial group over another group. They weren't racist. They were just insensitive and rude. There's a big difference. Steenhuisen said he was confident the department would be able to defend its decision to dismiss Kabanak should he challenge his legality. He also found it astounding that Kabanak has not stepped down, as he asked him almost a year ago, saying the chief of staff job was a political appointment. I'm astounded that John Steenhuisen hasn't stepped down as leader of the Democratic Alliance. He clearly can't do both jobs. How can you answer to the president as a cabinet member and execute his policy decisions, which are in stark contrast to your political party's goals and objectives? I'm astounded that John Steenhuisen has not resigned as leader of the Democratic Alliance. And more astounding is that he hasn't been pushed out. Does he have something on other members of the senior federal executive committee or whatever they're called? I asked Mr. Kabanak as a political appointee to stand down almost a year ago. He refused, which I find astounding because the political appointee is appointed by the political principal, and they should be able to be disappointed by this political principal as well. So let me get this right. John Steenhuisen, you wanted Ramon Kabanak to resign because you asked him to. Okay, that's fair. But why did you ask him to resign? Because the media ran propaganda stories about Ramon Kabanak. John Steenhuisen, you were personal friends. You appeared with him many, many times over the years. You've hung out with him. But that didn't prevent you from giving him an appointment and hiring him as a government employee. So what changed? Nothing changed. Except you didn't want to lose your position as the agriculture minister. Interesting. Instead, Kabanak hung on for a year. Well, why would he hang on for a year? He signed a contract You have abrogated the contract. He's a government employee. He committed no offenses. He stole nothing. He broke no rules. He broke no laws. He didn't undermine the integrity of the department he was appointed to. Why would he resign? He gave up a business, Johnny Steenhuisen, because you asked him to be your chief of staff. He gave up his business at Morning Shot, surrendered his equity to fulfill a promise to a friend, and you stabbed him in the back with lies and deception. You stabbed him in the back. You stabbed him in the back. And you wonder why he didn't resign? Well, get ready to fork over the next 4 years of his contract because you people violated the terms of his contract. I'm confident we'll be able to defend this in court. No, you're not. You're going to waste taxpayer money. Just pay him the rest of his 4 years. Pay him his money and be done with it. Do they award punitive damages in South Africa? I think that they should award punitive damages to Roman Kabanak for the disparaging comments coming from people like John Steenhuisen. He was unable to obtain a security clearance, and as chief of staff, you have to handle top secret documents because they're responsible for compiling your cabinet. Yes, because the Department of Agriculture has lots of top secret sticking. Ooh, yes. Yeah. Very important to have top secret access. Actually, it is true. He does need access to classified information. But why was he unable to secure a clearance? Is he a criminal? Is he a fraudster? No. Is he not a South African? He is a South African. So why can't he get a security clearance? Oh, because of political reasons, Johnny boy. Yes. Anyway, so John Steenhuisen, once again, betraying his friends. You know, they're friends, right? Roman Kabanak and John Steenhuisen were buddies. They were pals. This is what you do to your friends? This is what you do to your friends? Wow. Extreme weather in South Africa. The snow has come, South Africans. Get ready. Ooh, South Africans do not like the cold. I love it, man. I wish I was there now. Extreme weather triggers KZ emergency just before the comrades. South African Weather Service forecasts disruptive snow, strong winds, and cold weather across KwaZulu-Natal from Sunday to Tuesday, with potential traffic impacts of major routes, of course, like the Van Riebeeck Pass, where people got trapped last year. More than 22,000 athletes will run the historic down run, ooh, that's brutal, from Pietermaritzburg to Durban on Sunday, with forecasts predicting mild to warm race day conditions. They already activated the Joint Operations Center and stockpiled emergency supplies. Now that's leadership. Who's running that? Who's running the KZN emergency services? That is leadership. You're predicting the weather. You're predicting it. You've activated the operations center. You've pre-positioned supplies and equipment. That's leadership. That's what leaders do. Wow. When did this come to South Africa? I haven't seen this in ages. Well, President Ramaphosa wants the chewing minister, the rude, disgustingly vile, obnoxious member of parliament, to account for her behavior. Yeah. That's right. President Ramaphosa has requested a detailed report from Higher Education and Training Minister Nobule Nkabane for her conduct and engagement in parliament after public criticism of her response. She's an asshat with no manners whatsoever, sitting there ignoring the chair, chomping like a cow on her cud. Disgusting. Well, folks, tummy tucks, Brazilian butt lifts. Don't fight time. Don't fight. Father Time. Celebrity Sangoma Gogo Mzansi has died following a short illness. Well-known celebrity Sangoma Gogo Manzanzi, her real name, of course, was Tyra Sindane, has died after a short illness. It was confirmed by her husband, Brian, in a statement. She died on June 5th. In January, she headed to Turkey for a full-body transformation, undergoing multiple plastic surgery procedures, including a popular Brazilian butt lift, a tummy tuck, liposuction, rhinoplasty, fox eyes, and breast augmentation. And a few months later, she's passed away. This is shocking, folks. Okay, so I saw a few Sharks fans at the beginning of the progress talking smack about how the Bulls are going to be disappointed tomorrow. Hang on a second. I got a scam likely calling here. I got to delete this phone message. Johan Hussen, who we thought his career was over. Did you see the gruesome injury that took place when I was at Loftus a few weeks back? Did you see it? It was horrible. We thought Johan Hussen's career was over. He's had a tough run with his knees. Johan Hussen is playing for the Bulls at fly half. Oh, Sharks fans. Oh, Sharks fans. Oh, it's over. Wow. Unbelievable. Johan Hussen is back at fly half for the Bulls. Crucial semifinal against the Sharks at Loftus on Saturday. 6:15 kickoff, 6 o'clock on Rugby Ascendant. Hussen is the only change to the starting lineup that beat Edinburgh last weekend. Keegan Johannes is dropping to the bench. It's largely the same team that beat Scottish team director of rugby Jake White. It will look to a complete performance this time around. Now, they're saying that Hussen has big boots to fill, although he's an experienced campaigner. He's the starter. Keegan Johannes is the backup. Let's not get carried away here, folks. And they don't mention the gruesome injury that he's overcoming. Hussen is back in the lineup. That's shocking. I cannot believe it. That's awesome. Okay, quit calling me, you scamsters. Good gosh. That's like 6 calls in a row from these scumbags. That's blocked numbers. That's a $500 fine every time they do it. But the government never institutes a fine against these scumbags. Well, Blade Runner's back. Blade Murderer. I'm sorry, he used a gun, didn't he? He shot. Yes, Oscar Pistorius back in action after his prison stint at the Ironman in Durban. Former Paralympian Oscar Pistorius made his sporting return Sunday's Ironman 70.3 in Durban. Took part in the first of 2 South African events, finishing 3rd in the disability category. He was given permission to travel to Durban despite his restrictions on travel. He's on parole. He's permitted to travel across provincial borders and return to sport for the first time in the prestigious half-distance triathlon World Series. Convicted of murder of his girlfriend, model Reva Steenkamp, back in 2013. But now the 38-year-old was one of 4 competitors in the physically challenged category. He finished 3 out of 4. Oscar Pistorius is back in sports. So, murder. Just a couple years in prison. Wow. Zimbabwe farmers see progress to catapult them forward. Now, this comes after Chris Mutsvanga was on my program yesterday talking about Zimbabwe. This positive story from the French press agency. Claiming farmers in Zimbabwe making progress following years of chaotic land reform. White and black farmers are building partnerships. Some farm owners whose land was confiscated received their first compensation payments. Yeah, out of $3.5 billion, they've received $5.7 million. Hardly compensation. Outrage as Trump slaps travel bans on 7 African countries. No, he didn't do that, did he? Oh, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Outrage. African authorities and citizens expressed shock and dismay on Thursday over the abrupt decision by the Trump administration to impose travel bans on people from a string of countries on the continent. Chad, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Libya, Somalia, and Sudan. Yes, because we all know that those are states that are paragons of economic development, respect for human rights. 7 African countries are on Trump's travel ban. Why? Why? Asked the New York Times. Well, we'll talk about that. Why do the nations of Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Libya, Somalia, the Republic of Congo, and Sudan have in common? Until they were all put on Trump's travel ban, they're all African countries. But beyond that, not much links them. So what? They're scattered across the continent, spanning desert and tropical forests. Some are democracies in name, not in practice. And some are in military role. Some have heavy terrorist presence, others do not. Now it's in travel ban. Trump said the administration concerned in such factors whether the country has significant terrorist presence, its visa overstay rate, and its cooperation with accepting back its removable nationals. Yes, so why are we running this story about Africa, New York Times? Not all the countries that overstay the visa list are on the list, including Djibouti, 23%, Liberia, 19%. Yeah, well, there's a reason why Djibouti's not on the list. We have a military base there. So the way we solve this problem with Djibouti is we approve fewer visas. We don't ban them. Obviously, New York Times, are you stupid? We have a military base there called Camp Lemonnier, and it's necessary. And why isn't Liberia on the list? Because the Black Congressional Caucus. That's why. They'll scream, racism! Because the Black Congressional Caucus has an affinity for Liberia. America's never was a colony. These are the countries that are banned. The EFF says that a majority of the 19 countries that were banned are African. Do the math here real quick. 7 divided by 19. That's 37%. I guess the EFF is looking at the governmental shooting and going, aha, the ANC has a majority. No, they have 40%. And the majority of countries are not African. You dingbat doorknobs. Here's your sign. Anyway, 7 countries in Africa on the list. There you go. There you go, folks. There's the map right there. It's not a majority, EFF. It's not even a plurality. Libya, Sudan, Chad, Somalia, Burundi, the DRC, excuse me, the Republic of Congo, not DRC, Togo, Equatorial Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Hardly a majority. But apparently, math is one of the subjects that EFF members get 30% in. Right, let's get to it. More news to report here, folks. Oh, we haven't even hit 1,000 today. What's going on with that? We haven't hit 1,000 on Friday. Xi Jinping has a message for Donald Trump. Elon, thank you. Joining late. Opinion on Trump and Elon. Be patient. Be patient, Milan, getting to that. Xi's message. We're doing the news right now. Xi's message to Trump. Rein in the hawks trying to derail the truce. China sought to depict the call between Xi Jinping and Trump as an appeal from one strongman to another to run a tight ship. Ooh, so Xi is telling us how to run our affairs. Yeah, look at this. It's the leader of the free world and the despot of the free world. Of course, the despot's on the right, for those you confuse. Chinese leader compared the relationship between the United States and China to a large ship. The two men serving as powerful captains holding the rudder firmly to maintain a proper course. The analogy came with a warning. Do not let others steer the ship off course and jeopardize the relationship. Yeah. Start respecting human rights. Stop harvesting organs from Uyghurs. Release them from prison. Stop crushing their culture. And stop stealing our intellectual property, spying on our universities and our military installations, and then we'll talk. South Korea has elected a leftist, or left-leaning, president. There's a bit of a shocker. Lee Jae-myung, who survived an assassination attempt last year, secured the presidency. The 61-year-old former head of the Democratic Party who survived an assassination attempt last year didn't even get 50% of the vote at 49.42. But it's first past the post in Korea, like it is in America. His main challenger, Kim Moon-soo, got 41%, and he conceded the election on Wednesday. Congratulations to the new leftist leader of Korea. Let's hope you don't take it back on the path of the chaebol and the restrictions on students that we once saw from the 50s to the 90s. Russia pummels Kiev in response to the unprovoked drone attack on places like Vladivostok and Lake Baikal. The attack on Friday, which killed at least 4 people nationwide, came 2 days after Russia vowed retaliation for an audacious drone assault on a strategic bomber bases. Russia Friday launched one of its largest barrage of missiles and drones of the war at targets across Ukraine, killing at least 4 people and damaging buildings nationwide. And what Moscow suggested was retaliation for Ukraine's recent audacious assault on Russian strategic bomber bases. Meanwhile, in Berlin, at the Verteidigungsministerium, tja, bin ich. Oh, wieso? Wie viel? 100 Missilen. Ja, kein Problem. Wir werden die neue Missilen mit dem Flugzeug morgen hinschicken. Ja. No, kostenlos. Nein, kostenlos. Es ist ein Geschenk von uns für die Bevölkerung von Ukraine. Ja, bitte. Und damit können Sie Tausende von Russen vertoten. Ja. Alles Gutes. Bis nächstes Mal. Sigal! Oh, sorry, folks. That was the German Defense Minister receiving a phone call from Ukraine asking for 100 new missiles. The 100 missiles are on their way. They're on their way. They'll be flown by plane to Ukraine so they can murder more Russian civilians. And they were free. Kostenlos. Gratis. Hang on. Oh, bonjour, ouais. Pas du tout, c'est aucun problème. On peut faire demain. Combien? 100. Nous avons 200. Est-ce que vous voulez d'avoir 200? Ouais, c'est aucun problème. Avec les avions, il arrive, aujourd'hui c'est le vendredi, dimanche. Est-ce que ça marche bien? J'espère. Oui, dimanche. 200 missiles. Oui, à Kiev. Aucun problème. Oh non. C'est pas nécessaire de payer. Non. C'est notre cadeau. Ouais? Ah ouais? Jusqu'à la prochaine fois. Mon ami, oui. Tuer plusieurs des Russes. Ah oui. Tuer les Russes. Oui. Tout à l'heure, mon ami. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that was a conversation with the French Defense Ministry, which are sending 200 missiles to Ukraine to kill more Russian civilians. United Kingdom plans to tighten rules for the influx of migrants, but when Donald Trump legitimately shuts down the border to non-compliant countries, the EFF attacks America. Maybe they should be attacking South Africa's own government and the Brits. Millions of people poured in the country legally. No, they didn't. They poured in illegally, creating a populist backlash that is threatening to stay. Look at this. What happened to the Wall Street Journal? Spewing leftist lies. Millions poured in legally. They didn't pour in. They were welcome, those who came legally. Millions poured in illegally. There were no Africans there 7,000 years ago. That's a lie, Valerie. Britain's government set out plans to limit legal migration into the country, saying that the record influx of foreigners since Brexit has done little to energize the economy. The Dirty Secret is the only ministry in the entire British government that actually makes money for the people of UK is Home Affairs, because they charge legal migrants outrageous amounts of money for health care and for leave to remain, charging people as much as $16,000 for 2.5 year stay. Wow. Over £10,000 to stay for 2.5 years. And then you have to renew it like 4 times, I think, before you can get permanent status. Just a grift. Canada will hold off on promised retaliation against U.S. tariffs. Canada is going to wait before enacting any further retaliation against U.S. over higher steel and aluminum tariffs because negotiators currently representing Ottawa and Washington are in talks on a new bilateral economic and security deal, said Prime Minister Mark Carney. Do you know what Canada just did? Oh, JP Lombard, I'm not doing the UK missile call because somebody said it wasn't funny. They said it wasn't funny. So I'm not going to do any more. Trump's new travel ban is rife with contradictions. No, it's not. The New York Times, instead of analyzing the problem of people illegally staying in America, is more concerned about Trump contradictions. A variety of considerations has put together its latest restrictions, which is true. Zolan Kano Youngs and Hamed Al-Aziz, your typical Anglo-Saxon reporters from North America, said on Thursday that this travel ban, as mostly a dozen African and Middle Eastern countries, can't come soon enough. But even by that logic, Trump's ban is rife with contradictions. There's no consistent set of criteria that would lead you to these 19 countries, says Doug Rand, former immigration official in the Biden regime. Of course, the Biden regime, any immigration official there, has no credibility. They broke the Immigration Nationality Act with daily violations of the law. People like him should be charged with federal crime violations and be prosecuted. So we don't really want to listen to this guy, Doug Rand. You have a bunch of countries that seem to be politically motivated and a bunch of random countries with a big fig leaf of data to support their conclusion. There's no fig leaf. It's pretty clear. We have covered this before. I read this last night, and I'll read it again if necessary. This is utter nonsense from these leftist hate wankers who are serving in the corrupt Biden regime. So let me just go and randomly pick a couple of these countries and explain to you what's going on. June 4th, he issued this 2 days ago. Let's pick a country at random. Let's go with Equatorial Guinea. All right? According to the Overstay report, Equatorial Guinea had a B1, B2 visa overstay rate of 22% and an FM and J visa overstay rate of 70%. Oh, just at random. No basis for that, Doug Rand. Yeah, crop. What a crock. So, Eritrea. The United States questions the competence of the central authority for issuance of passports and civil documents in Eritrea. Criminal records are not available to the United States for Eritrean nationals, which therefore bans them from coming. So we didn't even need this proclamation. Eritrea has historically refused to accept back its removable nationals. Then just dump them there. Drop them out of planes. Give them parachutes and send them. According to the overstay report, Eritrea had a B1, B2 visa overstay rate of 20% and a FM and J visa overstay rate of 55.43%. So there's no data to back this up, Doug Rand. What a crock. What an absolute bought and paid for leftist criminal. Wow. Anyway, nonsense. There is a basis for Trump doing this, and he has justification and legal authority. Well, the Wall Street Journal, which of course we know is captured now by a leftist, says the new travel ban is going to withstand legal challenges better. President Trump's second-term travel ban is expected to be harder to fight in court than previous iterations after the Trump administration heeded lessons from a first-term court battle. Trump's initial travel ban was launched one of his most defining fights of his first term. It banned travel from 7 Muslim-majority countries, sparking turmoil at airports. Yeah, and it was called an anti-Muslim ban. But the problem with that is it didn't ban anyone from Saudi Arabia. It didn't ban anyone from Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim country. All over 200 million Muslims in Indonesia, none of whom were banned. But it was falsely portrayed as a Muslim ban because they're liars. Yeah, this one will stand the stand because Trump knows what he's doing. Well, the tiff between Trump, that was what the super chat was for, and Elon Musk. I talked about it last night. We'll talk about it again right now. Apparently, Trump's going to give back or sell his Tesla. I'll buy it. I'll give you $10,000 cash for it right now, President Trump. $10,000 for it. Trump to sell his Tesla. The White House says his feud with Musk puts both men at risk. Their blow-up leaves President Trump with an ex-ally who could undermine him politically, and Elon Musk facing the possible loss of billions in government contracts, not to mention his stock collapsing. President Trump has no plans to call Elon Musk today. White House official who spoke on condition of anonymity because the person wasn't authorized to speak to the public. Well, that means you're breaking the law, or confidentiality. It means you're a treasonous bastard. Said Friday the president planned to sell his red Tesla that he bought in March. Mr. Trump originally purchased the car to demonstrate support for Musk. Okay. Well, now he's going to get rid of it. There's the red Tesla. Who gets Silicon Valley? The Indians. The Indians get Silicon Valley. That's who's there. The day that Trump and Musk torched their relationship. This was bizarre yesterday, folks. This is absolutely pathetic. It was childish. It was churlish. It was juvenile. And quite frankly, we can blame it on both, but I blame it primarily on the actions of Elon Musk, who really upped the ante with his nonsense about lying about Trump being on an Epstein list. This is exactly what President Trump's advisors were trying to avoid 6 days ago.
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things.
And that's where he should have ended it. That's where he should have ended
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nice.
That's where he should have ended it.
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship.
Anyway, enough of that. All right, so that relationship has blown up. But I think it might just be a distraction. A lot of people saying that. Trump and Musk trade barbs amid policy bill. Again, as I said, Musk's comments were about the bill, not about Trump. Trump took it personally and accused Elon of having Trump derangement syndrome. It's not a good start. And then Elon posts things about creating a third political party, about Trump being in the Epstein list. It's just gratuitous nonsense, and retweets a video when NBC News tried to rubbish Trump from when he was single back in the 1990s, and Playboy went to a party dancing with chicas, and they have a problem with Trump looking at hot women and going, hey, she's hot. I'm sorry, NBC News, that's an indication that he's a heterosexual. Nothing else. Nothing else. Yeah, it's Congress's bill. Now, let me show you how just the media tries to shape the narrative, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Yeah, no, this is how the media tries to shape the narrative with their nonsense, okay? Let me be very specific about this, okay? So we're going to show you 3 news reports, one from the New York Times, which is honest, one from Wall Street Journal, which is dishonest, and one from Epoch Times, which is neutral. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Jobs. Okay? All right, so here we go. Jobs. In a chaotic economy, which is not honest, hiring remains steady. Employers added 139,000 jobs last month, continuing a steady run of hiring despite policy turmoil. So there you go. Look at that. Unemployment rate is unchanged at 4.2%. Trump took over in late January, so you can't count January, but in February, 100,000 jobs were added. In March, 110,000 jobs were added. In April, 150,000 jobs were added, and then, or 141,000 jobs, and now it's 139,000 jobs. So that's a fair report. It's held steady. I mean, it's barely negligible difference. But look at the Wall Street Journal. Hiring slowed in bit with 139,000 new jobs. Unemployment held steady. The market is not happy. It's not worse. Look at this. Look at the difference here. Little purple line over here on the bottom, and look next to it. Barely any discernible difference between the two. Barely any discernible difference between the two. But they say it's slowed. And the economy has 139,000 new jobs in May, topping market forecasts. Isn't that interesting? Because many analysts in the market said that they would only produce like 125,000 jobs, and the economy produced 139,000 jobs. Epoch Times gets it right. The Wall Street Journal, dishonest. Procter & Gamble will cut 7,000 jobs globally. Oof, that's not good. They'll carry out the job reductions over the next 2 fiscal years, targeting about 6% of its total global headcount. Procter & Gamble, which is charging outrageous prices for its products, it's the world's largest consumer goods company, announced a plan to eliminate 7,000 jobs and exit select brands. Well, which brands are they getting rid of? The Cincinnati-based maker of Tide, Pampers, and Old Spice will carry out the job reductions over the next 2 fiscal years, targeting 15% of its non-manufacturing workforce, or 6% of its total headcount. Wow. It's going to leave some brands. It doesn't say which brands. Interesting. P&G, Procter & Gamble. Coal and gas plants were disappearing until Trump came. Yay! Now they're back in vogue. Natural gas is the cleanest source of energy, not this solar nonsense, not wind turbines. Natural gas is cleaner. Coal and gas plants were closing, then Trump ordered them to keep running. Grid operators that draw power from plants said they never asked for them to remain open, and consumers may have to absorb extra costs. Why? Why are we absorbing extra costs? 63-year-old coal-fired power plant was scheduled to permanently close its doors in Michigan June 1st. So was an oil and gas plant that was built in 1960s in Pennsylvania. The Trump administration ordered them to stay open. So why? You're going to tell me it's cheaper to make environmentally destructive solar panels and count on that with no core power, no base load? Stop. Well, let's turn our attention back to Greenland and talk about how Denmark has treated Greenland. So we have some Greenlanders that are upset the United States would want them to be part of America, or that would support their independence. But the behavior of the Danes has been reprehensible, to say the least. In Greenland's icy capital, past troubles haunt hopes for a future. As Greenland comes into geopolitical focus, the past looms over the future of the world's largest island. So let's go down here. Look at the population surging in the capital of Nuuk, grown by 25% in 15 years. The G20, or the G60 plan, aim to modernize Greenland along Danish lines, promoting urbanization, industrial fishing, and the adoption of the Danish language and culture, stamping out indigenous languages. Modernization disrupted traditional modes of hunting and fishing, undermining local languages, customs, and social organization. The changes came as the cod stock, vital to Greenland's economy, collapsed. Scientists attribute the trend to overfishing and a change in ocean temperature. Cod had almost vanished by the early 1990s, and shrimp helped fill the void. Today, the families of former Kornuk residents can return to the village during the summers, but they cannot own the land. In fact, private land ownership doesn't even exist in Greenland, something attributed to Inuit tradition. In the 1970s, Danish health authorities fitted contraceptive devices in up to half of the fertile Greenlandic women population to curb population growth. Alcoholism has surged, and restrictions were lifted. Danish health authorities out of control. Last year, a group of indigenous women from the island sued Denmark for forcing them to be fitted with the devices in the 1960s and 70s, demanding compensation of $6.3 million. In the mid-20th century, attempts to Danize Greenlanders included the Little Danes experiment in 1951, which aimed to create a new Danish-educated elite within the Arctic territory. 22 children were taken from their homes, and while some were adopted into Danish homes, most ended up in orphanages. My father was forcibly sent to Denmark for a year once he was 12 years old. Wow. The dark history of the leftist in Denmark, crushing the indigenous population of Greenland. Interesting to say the least. Wow, we lost 100 people when I started talking about Greenland. What happened there? What happened there? 817,000 Indians in 4 months to Canada. What are you smoking? There haven't been 817,000 people enter Canada from India in 4 months. Where are you getting that nonsense from? 817,000 Indians divided by, how many months did you say it was? 4 months, 120 days. You're telling me that 6,800 Indians flew into Canada in the past 4 months, every day. There aren't enough flights to accommodate 7,000 Indians arriving in Canada. Where are you getting this from? Where do you get that information from? That's not even plausible. Somebody's zolling. You know, when people zol, they put the saliva on the zol. Then they share that zol. Come on, man. Come on. What are you smoking? All right. What do we got here in the chat? America pays 75% import tax for chicken, but we import chicken. Well, we don't anymore right now. We did. They imposed it for a period of time. Yeah, but you import chicken not fit for human consumption from the UK and from Brazil. Yep. If this goes real bad, can he be considered a national security threat, taking consideration of security clearances companies? Who? Yeah, how did Elon get the Epstein list? Exactly. How did he get access to the Epstein list? And by the way, if Trump was on the Epstein list, do you think he would let Elon Musk get access to it? Come on, man. Come on. That's not even plausible. It's just ridiculous nonsense. This collar is acting funny there. Here we go. Anyway. So Elon said, calm down, people. It's just a prank. No. Desmond, unless you went to Elon Musk's account and saw that, then it isn't real. There are tens of thousands of memes and fake messages being passed around claiming they kissed and made up. It's don't. Cindy Rose, hello. The driver didn't know or understand me or care. Imagine 10 little Muslim babies brousel. What are you talking about? Can't believe these two important people would do so. Yeah, I can't believe either. It's stupid. My Lyft driver yesterday was from Bangladesh. Barely spoke English. Told me Bangladeshi women having up to 10 kids. I told him about the concert for Bangladesh in the 70s and U.S. saved them all. Colonel, I just love your sense of humor. Good medicine with all the crap. Thank you, Ricky Chos. Thank you for that. Elon crossed the big line with the Epstein jab. Exactly, Virtual Western Cape. Been very fortunate to have a lot of tests, fast-tracked. A lot of people take tests to get, Ernst says. Okay, Ernst. Not sure what test you're talking about. Maybe you're leaving on a jet plane soon. Geez, the Colonel, the resale value of Tesla is terrible. It is, Holden Caulfield. That's why I offered $10,000. Are you all online and on forum for the 2 p.m.? Oh, yeah, that's a 2 p.m. Yep, that's with Jack Miller. Yep. That was a pathetic blow-up. I agree. Yep, that's confirmed my hand slipped on the hot curry and peri spices sweating in cold weather, says Psycho Billy. Fleshin says it's a disgrace, but it's mostly ignored. It gets traction with the likes of BBC ignored. What's getting ignored? Valerie said something there. Willem Smith, did I see the Network 24 article you sent yesterday? That doesn't really help me out, Willem. I mean, you're one of 10,000 people that sent me WhatsApp messages, and I don't know you personally that I'm aware of, so that really doesn't help me. If you would say, hello, did you see the Network 24 article about blah, 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 such and such that you sent to me yesterday, that would be different. But I received dozens of Network 24 and News 24 articles from yesterday, so which one are you referring to? Andre Appelgren? Silent laugh. Strange that the only president to stay in Washington, D.C. is... Huh? I don't understand what you mean, Alexa. Yeah, Elon and Trump need to reset and go on a date. Yep, they need to have a dinner date. I say Pug Mom. Elon need to get their back together again. Milan, 14 Rand. Thank you. Predictions on Bulls and Sharks. Bulls 31, Sharks 17. All right. Had a kettle on. Roman was apparently denied status because of his dual citizenship. Really? Really? How do you know that, Neville? Did Roman say that? And see, if that's true, it reinforced the argument I made that dual citizenship is a crock. You can't be a dual citizen. It doesn't work. Can't owe fealty to two sovereign states. The world has gone insane, Truth Channel. You're right about that. Val says, it just goes to show Africans are spreading across continents claiming they have land claims. Yeah, Stonehenge was built by hundreds of different people over a 2,000-year period. Good luck attributing that to one tribe or people. Exactly. Ruben says something's losing it. We're laughing. Who's losing it there, Ruben? Valerie says Britain is having a hard time. Africans say that. Oh, I already read that earlier. And Christopher Arda, according to George Galloway, the satellite that was used in the Ukraine attack against Russia was American, and 3 senators are mentioned. Okay, I don't know about that. Interesting. Rion says, Malema has an international arrest warrant out for him, initiated by the UK. And what a surprise. I found no evidence of that story whatsoever. There are YouTube channels claiming that. Because someone claims a YouTube channel doesn't make it true, I can find not a single news source that indicates that there's an arrest warrant for Julius Malema. I intimated and analyzed and predicted that it's likely that there's an international arrest warrant from the United States because Julius Malema threatened the life of President Trump. But that was analysis without evidence, based on limited facts. There is no evidence to support that there's a international arrest warrant from the UK for Julius Malema, Rian. No evidence of it. Found nothing. I've looked and searched up and down, high and low, and contacted people, and have got no information. Do you see Emma's blaming Elon for thousands of deaths? Because Emma who? Who's Emma? Emma who? You, Psycho Bill. Guys, stop doing this. Give me the information. Emma who? Congrats on 100,000. I still remember a few thousand subs, like 50 or live. Yeah, 50 or 75 live viewers. Yep, sounds like the podcaster 10 minutes ago with Kugel had death threats too. Huh? Louis Harhoff. Wow, that's an interesting username, or surname, excuse me. Welcome to the program. Thank you. Don't be so harsh on the Sharks predictions. Sorry, Andrea. Well, it doesn't mean I'm going to be right. Any news on the Marola Media post about jumping castles lifting off? No idea what you're talking about. Skippy says, I like your prediction. My thoughts too. Ooh, Johan Peterson says 17-15 Sharks win. Yeah, it's a pretty cool one, right? With the lion lager on here. This one's pretty cool. I think this one came from Ronaldo, didn't it? If we applied for the statement of interest in 12th May, do you think we should have heard something? No. Or is it usual? How can it be usual, LSR? How can it be usual? The program has never existed before. There's no usual. We don't know what usual until there's a track record. There's no usual. We don't do in-country refugee status very often. I've covered this many, many times. This is unusual. You're not escaping from a war zone. You haven't fled to a third country. And you're not registered with the UN as a refugee. It's in-country refugee status, granted under Immigration Nationality Act of 1980. There is no usual here. We don't know. So there is no usual. But if I had put my statement of interest on May 12th and I had not been called yet, I wouldn't be surprised, even remotely. First off, understand that you're not exactly putting things in to explain what your problem is or who your issue is. You're just putting information in that helps them determine how to contact you. That's it. Thank you for the super chat there, Danny Pinar. I'll get to that in a second, Johnny. So we don't know how many people applied on the 12th of May, the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. I also don't know the answer, LSR, whether you told me you're ready to go in 0 days or you need to wait 9 months. I don't know the answer on that either. And Con de Bruyne gave another one. Exactly. The stories and arrests of Juju is just once again propaganda to make him a martyr. Old script. Exactly. I have no evidence of that. And it fuels fake YouTube channels who promote fake news that I expose all the time. Danny Pinar, hi Colonel. I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but where can I sign up for a refugee to America? Is there? Oh, good Lord. Are you serious? Are you serious? Andre Alpagren, my wife says you're getting sexier the shorter your beard gets. As a 40-year-old, I have to bring my A game tonight. Honestly, she says you look good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, so to answer your question about where to go, ZA, US Embassy, .gov, and I'll help you do it. We'll do it right now. We're all going to do it. ZA. You ready for this? Watch. Nothing hidden here. Thank you, Pierre Ensslin, for becoming a member. Here we go. So ZA, U.S. Embassy. There we go. U.S. Embassy website in South Africa. Refugee admissions program for South Africa. Click on it. Are you a South African national? Are you of Afrikaner ethnicity or a member of a racial minority? And can you articulate a past experience of persecution or a fear of future persecution? If so, click on this link, Statement of Interest. It takes you to a Google form. All right? You put your surname down here. J-U-L-I-U. Julius. Oh, that's Malema. Put your first name, Julius, phone number, email address, country of residence, how many people in your family are interested in resettlement? Do you and your family members have resettlement, a valid passport? When would be the earliest you'd be able to travel? 0 months, 3 months, up to a year or longer. And your refugee claim. Which of these apply? Well, past persecution based on race, past persecution based on political opinion, past persecution based on membership political group, Afrikaners, or colors, fear of future harm based on race. There you go. And hit submit. Piece of cake. I can't believe people are actually asking me for this. Guys, look, I'm not insulting the person who asked the question, but that's unbelievably lazy. Unbelievably lazy. I don't understand how you can find a YouTube channel that isn't talking about refugees. It says D-Day, the 81st anniversary of the invasion of Normandy. But you can't type in ZA usembassy.gov, or you can't go South African Refugee Program to USA in Google. Come on, guys. Seriously? Seriously. Can't read the full story, but subtitle made me facepalm. What are you talking about? The loopholes around AR pistols and rifles is quite funny. Checked out. No idea what you're talking about. Lion is the best. We have the running joke that South Africa goes straight from breast milk to beer. Tennis says USA looks weak and petty with his mudslinging. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It has no impact on the United States. We have nothing to do with it. Alfonso saying Bulls refugees should go to Wyoming. No, it doesn't. Tennis. If that's your inference from it, I disagree with it. It makes Elon Musk and Donald Trump look petty. Doesn't make the U.S. look petty. Arno Flock, 35 Rand, the time of year I start my Band of Brothers watch list. There you go. Love the haircut. Thank you. And Vance de Bruns says, stripper chat. The ladies can thank me later. I don't do stripper chats. Thank you for the 35 Rand. Chris Bodenhorst says, there's a guy that's been around for a long time. I just read about another farm murder in Brits. Reported yesterday, which police documented as a house robbery shared by colleague Creel. Another one in addition to the one that I've reported? Okay, I got to go look at that up. Okay. Colleague Creel. Is this in addition to the one that I covered? Okay. While farm murder denies continuous murders, yet another victim dies. Monday. Yeah, this is another one. This is different than the one I reported on. 73-year-old. Beata. Is Beata handicapped? Is it like Behindita? I think Elon forgets Trump's present. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you, elderly. Oh, yeah, as in yeah. Got it. Thank you very much for that. See, I didn't know that. And so Beata, yeah, elderly. Thank you. Elderly man. Monday. Yep. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I should have got that. I should have got that because ya is years, so it's of years. So I should have got it. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you for that. That's it's but this isn't real. It's not happening, folks. White people are not being targeted. Farmers aren't being targeted. Senior Fund Rensburg spoke and all is unfolding like he said. Well, that depends on how you interpret things. Nikki, thank you, Pat, love the fresh look. Yeah, speaking of Senior Fund Rensburg, I put him in my song. Did you guys see that? Anybody notice that? Senior von Rensburg. It was pretty cool. Let me find his picture real quick. I know he's here. Come on, Senior von Rensburg. Come on, buddy. Where's he at? Ah, where'd he go? I know he's here. There's Paul Kruger. Where is Senior von Rensburg? No, I'm not finding him. What the heck? This is a crock. A crock. There we go. Oh, there he is. Senior von Rensburg. Okay, here you go. Dude really needed to spend more time on his personal hygiene. There you go. Senior von Rensburg. Well, who in the white agriculture community is supposed to listen to Cite Afrikaner when we've got Agri-SA lying and saying there's nothing to be worried about? It's not real. Johanna Brandt. Was she really? Are we talking about the same lady who survived the attack at Wenen? Seems like a friendly guy. Where's the gold? My mom's in Brits on those small holdings she refused to leave. That's scary. I think Juju's getting his weight loss injections. Yeah, he's probably getting Ozempic. Yeah, I saw that, Peter Vic, and I can't confirm that that's a legitimate video. It's not AI. I'm looking for that video. I can't find it. Do you know where it occurred, Peter? I saw the email you sent me. I watched it. I want to make a video about it, but I couldn't find anything to confirm it. I don't just run videos that get sent to me. I have to prove the provenance of them so I don't get embarrassed. That's why my channel is consistent. That's why people trust me, because I don't just fly off the handle. I mean, if I did, that video of a white guy being beaten with sunbucks, that's from like 5 years ago. Then other people showing me this, that, and the other. That happened in 2020, and you want to be outraged by it. You can be outraged by it, but you need to tell people it happened in 2020. That's why people trust me, because I don't just jump off the ledge on these things. So I need more confirmation. I need to know where that occurred. Wife says you're getting, I already read that one. Thank you. Getting sexier. All right. Married to a Musman. If you read senior books, you'll understand. Okay. Rachel Musman, thank you. Don't mention the gold or the diamonds, the platinum. Let's throw a smoke. Cobus. Probably, it's not real that we were chased off the chicken farm at undisclosed location. Yeah, no, it's not real, Lexa. It's just all made up. It's all made up. It's not true. It's just a bunch of nonsense. We read it. The EFF tells us. In fact, let me read what the EFF has to say. Yeah, they say that this Trump's justification for this ban, alleging that foreign nationals from the affected countries are inherently dangerous, that's not what Trump alleged, is nothing more than recycled white supremacist propaganda. Yet Trump naturalized 2.9 million people. Over 2.6 million of them were people of color from the global south. This is the same logic that was used that's led to the vilification of black South Africans. Of course, they capitalized black, which is grammatically incorrect. It's an adjective, not a noun. Black South Africans under the false accusation of white genocide. Nobody's vilified black South Africans. No one's even mentioned who the black South Africans are that are murdering these people. So that's another lie. The same logic sees Africans as threats simply by their virtue. He says, no, we see idiots like the EFF and Julius Malema as a threat because they're pathological liars. Pathological liars. No, Lana, I don't have chickens. I have no livestock. I'm a beekeeper and I don't even have beehives because I live in a peri-urban area and I have a homeowner association and I can't exactly put beehives on my property because it would affect my neighbors. Can't have chickens here for sure. Potreff Storm University. Yeah, I saw that. That's something I'm trying to get more confirmation of. 2 people have sent me comments on it, but that's not a second confirmation because they're recycling the same story. I have the video. I just need to get something more to confirm it, and then I'll do it. Also, the video in the States, I've asked for people to confirm where it came from. Many people are circulating this video purporting to be in America. It looks like it's in America of people singing Kill the Boer at a black gathering of Americans. That's great, but I don't know where it took place. I need to know where it took place, when it took place, so I can do some checking on it and then run it. Otherwise, I'm not running that story. Guys, you had people like the ballsack guy who would run unsubstantiated stories all the time with no evidence, and then they had egg on their face. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to run unsubstantiated stories to get egg on my face. See, you see what happened when that scumbag right-wing white Afrikaner attacked me over me reporting the death, the assault and the home invasion and the attempted murder, which led to a murder of the elderly couple neo-Brits. A white Afrikaner who has a substantial following called me a liar and questioned my credibility because he used his reputation to lie and say that his contacts in Brits have no evidence. They know nothing about this attack. Well, the fact that his contacts are useless doesn't change the truth. I ran the story after getting confirmation from AfriForum's security guys and from the family directly, who contacted me initially and told me about him. And then I reported the murder and how he died days later. And that same person attacked me. But see, if I just run off at the mouth and report things without any substantiation, without any investigation, without any analysis, then I look as stupid and foolish as these people do. But the reason people trust me and come here is because I do my due diligence. Now, it doesn't mean I get everything right. Stories get falsely reported. Like the story about the couple, 4 or 5 years ago, that claimed that they were boxed in, they were being chased, and they went to the police station. That story is not entirely accurate. And I reported on it 5 years ago. And no one accused me of egg on my face, but there's a little bit of egg on my face when I look back at that story now. So, yeah. James Bowie, when am I talking to Jack Miller at 8 p.m. South Africa time in 44 minutes? Do you guys not check the channel? Come on, man. Come on. This isn't hard. Okay, so at 8 o'clock. That's when I'm doing it. So we'll talk to Jack Miller at 8 o'clock, which makes for me for a very busy day. I've got to run to the barracks today. I've got to get crabs when I come back. A lot going on. I'm glad you're the only one I took note of when we were going to take it seriously. When a father or mother decides to murder the entire family before committing suicide. What? Oh, Benjamin. What's this? Benjamin? What? Want to make sure that I'm in the right place for the asking. No. It's fine, Danny. It's fine. It's fine. I appreciate you want to make sure, but I'm just confused. You didn't indicate that you were at the right place. My name is stated Rugby, not a stout. Yeah, we know that, Lynette. It's ridiculous. New hair and beard trim. Thank you very much, Cordell. Wow, 20 years younger. Thank you. Okay. Colonel keeps missing. I've seen other media except. Peter saw checking it. Okay. Yeah, AI could be an explanation, Peter. I know I don't want to run that story and then, I get egg in my face because, it could be AI. It's that good these days. I did see the Potchefstroom thing. Man in the world deserves to die like that in your old age. No, it's horrible. It's horrible, Johan. It's just horrible. But they just dismiss it. Phil and Petzer also covered Farm Attack this week. Yeah, that's a different Farm Attack. He was recording something else at the time. That video is from Nigeria. Exactly, Conrad. See? The one that I was talking about, the white guy being Sambak, was in Nigeria, not South Africa. No, Pat Newman. Some Americans dress like that. They pretend they're Africans by putting on kente cloth and appropriating African culture. They're not Africans. So it could be in America. I was looking for signs. The gymnasium looked like a place in America. But I don't know. Again, see, that's you don't know the provenance of these things. You got to be careful. Chris says that's 3 attacks, 2 deaths. Marissa, you were in Potchefstroom and you heard that singing? Thank you, Nicolene Wenzel. AI is very dangerous each day. Yep. James Bowie, I'm chatting with Jack shortly. Have you had a chance to listen to the X interview with Jack Miller? No, I haven't. A brown suit? I don't wear brown. It's not very complimentary. Baby boomer dad. Got maize going on there. It's funny you should put maize up. I bought several ears of sweet corn yesterday so I can have it after my crabs tonight. After my steamed crabs. Definitely domestic terrorism. Yep. Name and shame. Well, I do that if necessary. You like my new trim, says Yanika Renka. Where's the likes, folks? 689 likes. There's still 900 people here. Some of y'all falling down the job. Let's see if this battery's actually low.
That was easy.
That was my finger blocking yesterday. Video is that you can't see anyone. Exactly. That's the problem I have, Conrad. You've hit it nail on the head. I didn't explain that. I can't see anyone. I just hear sound and I hear lights and, that could be something faked. So, but Marissa's saying she was there and heard it. So that's interesting. Dashing, dapper, and gorgeous, says Nicola. Well, thank you, sweetheart. Maybe a little something extra in your check this week. Cargo ship on fire. No, Tony, didn't hear about that. Welcome in from the oil sands of Alberta. The Horn of Africa, Jason Suburb, Homer says you can even tell you pay. What's this? Myra Princeless says, Burmaisi, looking great. Thank you. How far will the Sharks win tomorrow? Well, skeptical certainty. I hate to break it to you, but the Sharks are not going to win tomorrow, and you can listen live and watch live on my channel. If you've got Super Sport, put it on TV, put them on mute. Instead, listen to Matthew Pearson, Hayani Shamange, and you can listen to Chris Wyatt as I call the game tomorrow. Right here. Well, not right here, on Rugby Ascendant. Yep. Cool beans. No insult. You do so well. Yeah, Shambok. Yeah, no. What did I say? Sambok? Shambok. That was easy. You like that, Cindy? Oh, I've had that button for going on 20 years now. This came from Staples, I think it was. Was it Staples? Yeah, Staples. Yep.
That was easy.
It's the easy button. 100,000 subscribers. Thank you, Vikas. King Chris. I don't know about that. I wasn't there, but where I work, I heard a lot of singing. Ah, okay. Thank you, Marissa. Where are you going to hang YouTube plaque? I'm not, Alan. I'm not. I will show it and then probably put it aside. I mean, do you see any Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Army Meritorious Service Medal, Commendation Medal, Achievement Medal, campaign ribbons, award from the Governmental Liberia for rebuilding Armed Forces Liberia, one of only 19 people that ever received the award in 200+ year history of Liberia. Do you see any, or 180-year history of Liberia, do you see anything from the German government hanging up there? No, you don't see anything hanging up there. So the YouTube plaque, if and when it arrives, will be no more special than anything else. I will show it, though, as a courtesy to you guys. Vikas says Sharks 45, Bulls 42. All right. Vikas put himself out there. We'll see. That's what I did with the Munster game. Watch them, but listen to you. There you go, Emerson, Texas. Wasn't it fun? That was incredible. That game was something else, man. And then the kicks. His servant. Okay. Thank you, Vikas. Good video with 10 minutes with Kula yesterday. Song at the end is Tearjerker. Crossing the Veil. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is 10 minutes with Kool-Aid? Where's that? I don't have a video called that. What are you talking about, Martin? Sharks by 3, says Jacques. Colonel, did you get the Tibet strike? Not sure what a Tibet strike is. Third place medal from a 100-meter sprint when I was 3. Framed in my bedroom, says Milk and Honey. That's cool. Police sirens everywhere in the CBD of Pretoria. Okay, Yaku. Nicola, if the Bulls get into the final at Loftus, I don't know what's going to happen. Is that a troll at the bottom of the shelf? Yeah, over here. That's a troll. Yeah, that's a troll. There's 2 trolls over here. You can't see the other one. So here's one here, and there's one over in the other corner, which my camera somehow is inched in a little bit. Yeah, there's another troll. There's 2 trolls on that shelf. And they're from Norway. I actually got those in Norway. Yeah. See? Norwegian. This one bears a marked resemblance to Julius Malema. Got those in 1992, I think it was. Yeah, one went to Norway. I think it was 92. Might have been 94. No, it was 92. Not sure what you mentioned today about Trump and Musk, but since the first post-X, it seems staged. It does. I've talked about it earlier. 10 minutes with Kool-Aid, another YouTuber. Oh, never heard of him. Martin. Disappointed in the Sharks fans in the Munster game. They were bad sports. Yeah, they were booing during the kicks. That was very bad. I was disappointed as well, Cordell. It says a lot about Sharks fans. That was very disappointing. Charles saying 2 Blue Bulls supporters at the bottom of the shelf. Yes, the trolls are everywhere. Side up for Connor. You guys are killing me. Okay. You have a Blue Bull t-shirt under that Springbok jersey. Most Springboks are Blue Bulls anyways. No, this is not a Blue Bull shirt. This is a France 2023 rugby shirt. I used this to make different videos today. So I've worn 2 different Springboks tops and the t-shirt to make 3 different videos. I haven't published the video about Trump yet. I will. David Delport gave 70 rand super chat. Says, Senior predicted that USA will be the Afrikaner's friend in a time of conflict. Britain will betray her country, but you will find out the American Navy will repel India and China. He said that by name. Did he say when? Now the guys mentioned it, we had a lot of medical helicopters flying back and forth. Well, we had helicopters flying over my house a short while ago during this program. Very loud, just when I started. What did Cyril do to Elon? Nothing. It's not a bull's chair. Do you have an NVIDIA 30 series GPU? I do have, I don't know if the 30, yeah, it's a 30 series. It was the top of the line NVIDIA when I bought it a few years ago. Yeah, which one was it? Let me see. Let me go to my email. Folders. Let me see. Let me go back to this. I pull this up occasionally. I ought to print this out so I have these stats. There we go. All right, I had to go back to 2021. That's when I got this thing. Gosh, 2025 already? Wow, it's crazy. Okay. Come on. Okay, 2022, 2021. Let's go to December of 2020. Here we go. December 2020. December 31st, 2020. Wow, this computer is 4 years old. 4+ years old. Wow. All right, what did I get? At the time I bought this was a top core card. Where is my video card? NVIDIA GeForce 3060 Ti with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Bought that in December 31st of 2020. I paid $2,212 for this. Yeah, 40,000 Rand. Yeah. I used all of the super chat money I'd received and a little bit of savings to pay for it at that point. 32 gig of RAM, which is not enough. Next time it's got to be 64 at a minimum. But it's an i9 10900F processor with a 10 by 2.8 gigahertz with 20 megabytes level 3 cache. So, yeah. And an Asus Bluetooth adapter that never worked. A 2 terabyte physical hard drive and a 1 terabyte of solid state. At the time, solid state drives were ridiculously expensive. Yep. I had to pay tax on it, so it cost me $2,237. Yep. It's an NVIDIA. Yep, 3060. And I have that software. Just didn't know it canceled out the typing. The Rugby, 6 p.m., Loretta. Rugby is sent at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, Cobus, i9 is great. Arno has an AMD Ryzen 32 gigabyte DDR 3060 11. That's not bad. Yes, it will rock with Minecraft. Okay. Trump pulls reverse psyop to get focused back on the Epstein list. You think so? I don't know about that. Download NVIDIA Broadcast. I have NVIDIA Broadcast. I do game with this PC, Kevin, but rarely. I don't have time. I'm working my tail off. Nice to be on this live stream again. I'm not sure if you've covered this previous videos, but I'm super curious about how and why and when you became involved in South Africa. You're not sure if I... Dude, I've only answered that question a zillion times since 2020, but I'll answer it again. Mighty Jamie said that AfriForum is panicking like Trump. Why would AfriForum care about Trump and Musk? This Mighty Jamie's not very bright, if that's what he said. Heard that Neil DeBeer has been invited. I have not heard that he's been invited to the White House. I know that Neil DeBeer is coming to the States, but his health delayed that. So, looks sexy. Thank you very much. Still running Windows 7. Wow, Yaku, that's old. Hard style in Africa. I like that username. What type of games do you prefer? I prefer strategy games, strategic games. Yep. I don't like things like Grand Theft Auto. Although I've played things like Doom. Barreto just gave 350 Rand saying, "Go Bulls." There you go, Barreto. Well said. Came in late. That's why I asked. James, what did you ask? I've forgotten now. What did you ask? Did I answer your question? Day 43, nothing new to report. No email, no phone call. No, that's fake news, Venom. Day 43, you're telling fairy tales. There's not day 43. It hasn't even been day 30 yet. May 12th is when if you're talking about the refugee program, it opened up on May 12th. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Day 26. Day 26. day 26, assuming you submitted on May 12th. Now, Venom, if you sent an email to the PRM email address 43 days ago and you think that you've applied for the program, I'm sorry to disabuse you of that notion, but you probably haven't applied. You need to put a statement of interest in at the USMB website. I've only mentioned this dozens of times on this program over and over and caution people, do not assume that because you sent an email to the PRM email address either before or after May 12th that you're in the program or that you're being considered. You must fill out a statement of interest on the embassy website. There's no 43 days, Venom. That's not true if that's what you're talking about. Maybe I'm missing something. But that's simply not true. No, my computer didn't cost $40,000. It cost $2,200. 40,000 Rand. I said Rand. I know I said Rand. Danny Pinaval, excuse me. 140 Rand. Thank you for that super chat. Used to be a big Diablo fan. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I played Diablo. I bought the new Diablo, but it sucks. I wasn't impressed. The original Diablo is awesome. When I was at the U.S. Army Combined Armed Services Staff School, which is a staff course that captains attend, in 1990, when was I there? 99? Yeah, I think 1999 I went there. Went to Fort Leavenworth, and I took my PC with me because I lived in Iowa, which is 6 hours away, 5 hours away. I drove there. So I took my PC with me, and we stayed in the billeting for officers. Bachelor officers' quarters, and like the first couple of days I was there, we were talking about computers, and several of us played Diablo, and they had a network connection in the building. You just plugged in a network card, and you hooked up. So we played Diablo together endlessly. It was incredible. I loved it. It's the only time I've done that sort of thing. There was no lag. There's no latency because we were all right there. It was awesome. Loved playing Diablo. Yeah, Diablo is cool. Used to play Wolfenstein back in the day, but mostly I play strategic games. But I don't play much anymore. I just don't have the time. Should not take a refugee offer. We should stay and help fight the cause. Ernst 2. See, Loretta, once again, that's useless information to me. Ernst 2. I deal with Ernst von Sale and Ernst Rutz quite a bit, plus another other Ernst. Thank you, Milan, for the 70 Rand. So Ernst 2. Ernst Rutz. I heard that Jaden Henderson might be playing. Well, Charles, that's bad news for the Bulls because Jaden Henderson sucks. So if he's playing, it's a guaranteed win. I like military simulation games, yes. Statement of interest following application. That's ensure the authentic application. Cindy, I don't know what your question is. What do you mean statement of interest following an application? There is no application. There's no application. There's simply a statement of interest you fill out at the U.S. Embassy website, and then you wait to be contacted. When you're contacted, you get interviewed, and I presume you fill out some sort of application when you're there, but I don't know because no one's told me that yet. Gosh, Andre, I'm not gonna repeat what Andre Rue just wrote in chat. That's scary. Apologies, I haven't been here in a while, but I just did the short statement of interest on the website. Yep, you're good. You're good, Milan. You're good. Now you have to wait. The Border by Sea seem to like the new look, Chris. See, I told you guys. Pass op. Is that like pass op in German, like pass? Or pay attention? Find it absurd when you spend your life working computers to play the games too. Well, I don't think so, Chris. Oh, Charles says he thinks that Jaden got over his eye cramp now. Any reports on the C-17 with parabats sent to the Middle East? Nope. We do that all the time. So that's doesn't even get my attention. Erica Funderberg, would it be able to take your pets? Would what be able to take your pets? Oh, Nicola. Yeah, the shirt. Yeah, the other shirt. Yeah. Yaku Rus, I'm happy to become a rugby commentator. I am a rugby commentator, but I've been given no offer by any broadcasters. I do it. That's why I do it. I've done hundreds of broadcasts, far more than any of those professional broadcasters. How will I know if they received? You won't, Pierre. They unfortunately don't send a confirmation. That's unfortunate. Yeah, pass op. Yeah, thank you, Hendo. It's just like German. Pass op means Vorsicht. Pay attention. Look out. Be aware. Stay alert, stay alive. That's what we say in the military. Hey, Jacques Fremont from Namibia. When are you going to visit us? Jacques, I now have to apply for a visa to come to Namibia. So it's moved down a notch. But I need to get to Namibia. Maybe on the next trip, if I could carve an extra week out so I could fly to Windhoek and rent a car and go to Swakopmund. Yep. Maybe. What's with all the refugee questions? How long before a refugee can work? As soon as you have a social security number. Asked and answered 10,000 times. Western Province, says Sonia. Well, I agree. Einkletterer. Klester. I don't know. That's not the right spelling. Well, Jacques, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I love Namibia. I haven't been there, in probably 15 years. I think 2010 was the last time I was in Namibia. Oh, Ekwachao. Okay, Krista. Yeah, watch Sunday, Sandra. Exactly. I mean, it's not a state secret. I've told you guys I've done this. We have the Colonel's South African Refugee Cafe Clutch on Sunday. It's specifically to answer refugee questions. It's a new segment. Every Sunday we're doing it. Yes, I did work with the South African National Defense Force. Never worked with the SADF, South African. I only know them as a historian and an observer. Never worked with the SADF, but just the SANDF. Duke Quinsa Duplessis says, honestly, you're very patient on the refugee questions. Swakopmund is beautiful. Yep. Namibia is nice. It is. Yep. I'm sorted upstate Namibia. Well, thank you for that, Garrett. I don't get Cook Sisters, and I don't like them anyway, Paige, but you can get stuff like that. There's 120,000 South Africans living in America. Some of them make biltong, some of them make Cook Sisters. Yeah, you can find those things. Flesh or goldfish. Oh, my goodness. There's only 3 things you can see from space. Oh, Andre Rue, them's fighting words, man. The Great Wall of China and the Gap in Western Province's back line. No, you mean the Stormers back line. Cash Patel interview just dropped on Joe Rogan. Okay. Feels good to catch you live. My YouTube is not sending notices anymore. Kitty, yeah, go back and resubscribe to the channel and push the button for all notifications. That usually helps. Yeah, Duquesne, yeah, but that's not spelled either way. The way you spelled it or the way it's spelled there. It's not spelled that way. We have Duquesne in the United States. Marquette and Duquesne are universities named after the French word. I contacted PetLift Yolanda, and I'm going to say the following. I will be, and that's, again, are people not seeing these things? I have the interview scheduled for Sunday, 11 a.m., 5 p.m. South Africa time, moving South African refugees' pets to the United States. It's published. Morgan will be on the program with me, and we're not going to talk about how and when, but we're going to talk about requirements for bringing pets. She is a former Army logistical officer, she told me. She's a veteran, and we're going to talk about this on Sunday. So there you go. Now, as far as this whole pet thing, those of you who've spoken ill of me can go shove it up your rectum if you're here today. I have no respect for asswipes who are disrespectful to me, who lie about me and spread rumors about me because their feelings were hurt because they were proven to be wrong. Khan gave it 35 Rand. Any dog 7 to 9 kg will cost you. Yeah. Anyway, so on this that group and on Facebook, I've been getting rubbished by a bunch of hate wankers who didn't like the fact that when someone mentioned in here that it only costs $200 to send a pet to America, I said that can't possibly be true. It sounds like a scam. And then they lied and said I called Operation Pet Lift a scam. I never said that. But that's typical of many South Africans. They don't listen. They hear what they want to hear. And then they start running around, talking cock about me in Afrikaans. And I have one response for people like that. You're human feces. And this is the bugger off bunny. And you can take this and sit on it. You ungrateful, ingrate pricks. There you go. I said it. No time for fools like that. You're right, no one. Exactly. You can never win. Yeah, people spread rumors ain't out for Connors. Cobus, that's a fair statement. Screw you is my response. I agree with Chris. Send them on their merry way with a roll of toilet paper. Karika says, I'll check you Sunday. Okay, cool. You're welcome, Karika. Rudy Costa gave a 14 Rand super sticker. You know the conversation is getting hot when the bunny comes out. There you go, Paige. Sit on it, ingrate. Maze like that. I love the bugger off bunny. I want one too. Well, Shanez, the problem is this, and it was part of the problem when this program started. I had some vile, repulsive hate wanker down under lying about my program and spreading rumors. And people were gullible, just didn't come watch my program after they'd heard about me because of that liar. And it cost my channel. But quite frankly, to be honest, if people are that stupid, it's like the lady in Mossel Bay who was supposed to come on my program. She defected from the DA to the Freedom Front Plus. I asked her to come on. She agreed to come on. It was a story that had not really been covered much, and I was breaking a story about corruption of the DA in Mossel Bay. I never got the story because the hate wankers told her that I worked for the CIA. These people work behind the scenes. They send messages around. They tell people lies, and a lot of gullible people believe it. But you know what? Whatever. What's the topic? The end of the show, Lana. It's time for it to end. Like I said before, people like to be negative and run other people down. Yep, just to feel good about themselves. Okay, guys. Yep. That's going to be it. We didn't get to 1,000 likes. Bummer. 844 likes, and we didn't get there. Anyway, but we did have a good audience. 5,500 showed up during the stream. Thank you all so much. And the average view time was 15 minutes and 33 seconds, which is very respectable. Thank you for that. Why did the SA farmer win an award? He was outstanding in his field. Ha ha, Yako! Telling dad jokes. See you guys in about 18 minutes with Jack Miller from the Cape Independence Party. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one. And don't forget to join us tomorrow on the program for Rugby Senate. Go to Rugby Senate and watch the Bulls defeat the Sharks. Okay? Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you in just a couple minutes right here. Bye-bye.